George Soros once said, "It's not whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much you lose when you're wrong." At first glance, that sounds like a quote about confidence, but look closer and you'll discover it's actually a lesson in humility. That single idea captures why George Soros became one of the most influential investors in history, not because he believed he could predict the future, but because he understood that uncertainty is the one constant in financial markets. Most investors spend their time trying to be right. Soros spent his time preparing to be wrong. That subtle shift in mindset changed everything. One of his greatest contributions to investing is the theory of reflexivity. While traditional economics assumes markets simply reflect reality, Soros argued that markets also shape reality. Investors' beliefs influence prices, rising prices influence decisions, and those decisions can reinforce the very trends that created them. In other words, markets are driven as much by human psychology as they are by economic fundamentals. Fear, greed, optimism, and panic don't just react to events, they often create them. Perhaps the greatest demonstration of this thinking came in 1992, when Soros famously bet against the British pound. He recognized that Britain's exchange rate policy was becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. While many investors trusted that governments would keep the system intact, Soros focused on the growing disconnect between market reality and political promises. When the United Kingdom withdrew the pound from the European exchange rate mechanism, his fund reportedly earned around $1 billion in a single day. It wasn't luck. It was the result of questioning widely accepted assumptions while carefully managing risk. But here's what many people misunderstand about George Soros. They remember the winning trade, yet overlook the countless times he changed his mind. Soros never treated changing his opinion as a weakness. In fact, he believed that recognizing mistakes quickly was one of an investor's greatest strengths. His flexibility allowed him to adapt faster than those who became emotionally attached to their predictions. That lesson applies far beyond investing. Whether you're building a business, managing your finances, or planning your career, clinging to outdated beliefs can be far more expensive than admitting you're wrong. Success often belongs to those willing to learn, adjust, and move forward.
Another powerful insight from Soros is that extraordinary opportunities rarely appear when everyone feels comfortable. They often emerge during periods of confusion, uncertainty, and fear. While panic drives many investors to sell at the worst possible moment, disciplined investors calmly evaluate whether the market has overreacted. That doesn't mean taking reckless risks. It means understanding that emotion frequently creates opportunity. Perhaps the most valuable takeaway from George Soros is that investing isn't about predicting every market move. It's about building a process that survives uncertainty. No investor wins every trade, but successful investors consistently protect their downside while positioning themselves to benefit when opportunities arise. Risk management isn't the opposite of ambition. It's what makes long-term success possible. In the end, George Soros teaches us that great investing isn't a battle against the market. It's a battle against our own certainty. The investors who thrive aren't necessarily the smartest in the room. They're often the ones most willing to question themselves, adapt to new information, and stay disciplined when emotions run high. So here's a question worth thinking about. If the market proved your strongest investing belief wrong tomorrow, would you have the courage to change your mind? If you enjoy exploring the timeless wisdom of legendary investors and learning how their ideas can shape your own financial journey, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes that successful investing begins not with predicting the future, but with understanding yourself.